Intentional torts require an act by the defendant, some volitional movement, intent, which must be specific or general, specific meaning that they intended to bring the specific harm, general means substantial certainty that tortious conduct will result from defendant's act, and causation, which is a substantial factor. Defendant's conduct must be a substantial factor in bringing about the resulted harm. Transferred intent doctrine arises when defendants act with intent to commit a given tort, but they commit the original tort against a different person than intended, commits a different tort than intended against original person, commits different tort against different person than intended, and the defendant's original intent transfers to the tort actually committed and or person actually harmed, resulting in defendant's liability. Applies only to assault, battery, false imprisonment, and trespass. Damages. Compensatory, i.e. money damages. Punitive damages are available for torts committed with malice. Assault is an intentional act by defendant creating plaintiff's reasonable apprehension of immediate harmful or offensive contact to plaintiff's person or something closely attached to plaintiff's person, e.g. hat or cane, also considered an attempted battery. Elements are 1, act by the defendant that creates a reasonable apprehension in plaintiff. Reasonable apprehension is plaintiff has awareness of defendant's act and has a reasonable expectation that it will result in immediate, harmful, or offensive contact to plaintiff's person. Note, beware of fact patterns where defendant appears incapable of accomplishing the threatened harm. Apparent ability is sufficient as long as it could reasonably create plaintiff's apprehension. 2, of immediate harmful or offensive contact to plaintiff's person. Plaintiff must apprehend an immediate or imminent battery. Words or threats are usually insufficient unless coupled with overt act, such as picking up a weapon, clenching fists, etc. Similarly, threats and future battery are insufficient. The third element is intent, and the fourth is causation. Battery is an intentional, harmful, or offensive contact to plaintiff's person by defendant. Elements are 1, a harmful or offensive contact by defendant. Harmful contact is contact that causes pain, injury, etc. Contact is offensive if it would be considered offensive by a reasonable person and plaintiff has not consented. 2, to plaintiff's person, includes anything closely connected to plaintiff's person, e.g. plaintiff's hat. 3, intent. 4, causation. Indirect contact is sufficient, i.e., causing the force that gives rise to harmful or offensive contact, e.g., greasing a floor so that plaintiff would slip and fall. False imprisonment is an intentional act by defendant resulting in plaintiff's restraint or confinement to a bounded area. Elements include 1, an act or omission resulting in plaintiff's restraint or confinement. Restraint or confinement does not have to be physical, i.e. threats of force, invalid use of legal authority. Duration is not important. Brief confinement will suffice. 2. Plaintiff is confined to a bounded area. Plaintiff must be aware of or harmed by the confinement. Plaintiff's freedom of movement must be limited. Plaintiff must not be aware of any reasonable means of escape. If a reasonable person could get out by opening an unlocked door, no false imprisonment. 3. Intent. 4. Causation. The shopkeeper's privilege is that a store may detain a suspected thief if 1. The store has reasonable cause to believe a theft occurred. 2. The store detains suspects in a reasonable manner. Only non-deadly force is permitted for purposes of investigation. And 3. Detention is a reasonable in length and scope. Shopkeeper may be held liable for any harm caused by acts exceeding the privilege. Intentional infliction of emotional distress is extreme and outrageous conduct by defendant causing plaintiff severe emotional distress. Elements include 1. Extreme and outrageous conduct by defendant. This is conduct that exceeds the bounds of decency in society. Mere insults alone are insufficient. Conduct must be outrageous to a reasonable person unless defendants target plaintiff's known sensitivities or weaknesses. Defendant's conduct is continuous or repetitive. Defendant targets a plaintiff who is a member of a fragile class, such as elderly children or pregnant women, or defendant is a common carrier or innkeeper. 2. Severe emotional distress in plaintiff. Plaintiff must suffer severe emotional distress from defendant's conduct. Physical symptoms are not necessary. Note, watch for facts indicating extreme outrageous conduct, but plaintiff does not suffer severe emotional harm. This is not IIED. 3. Intent or recklessness. Recklessness is defendant disregards the likely consequences of his act. And 4 is causation. IIED bystander claims for emotional distress. When defendant's conduct is directed at a third person and plaintiff, the bystander, suffers severe emotional distress, plaintiff must prove the same IIED elements with additional intent and causation requirements. The elements are 1. Extreme and outrageous conduct by the defendant. 2. Severe emotional distress in plaintiff. 3. Intent or recklessness. And 4. Causation. Additional requirements are that 1. Plaintiff was present at the time. 2. Plaintiff was a close relative to the plaintiff, or distress resulted in bodily harm. And 3, defendant knew these facts. Note, plaintiff does not need to establish additional requirements if plaintiff proves defendant had a design or purpose to cause severe distress to plaintiff. Trespassing to land is a physical entry of plaintiff's real property by defendant without consent. The elements are physical entry of plaintiff's real property by defendant. This occurs when defendant enters plaintiff's property or propels an object onto it, such as the defendant walks on plaintiff's property, throws a ball onto plaintiff's property, chases someone onto plaintiff's property. Plaintiff need only have lawful possession of the property. Ownership is not required. Must be a physical invasion. Invasions by light, sound, smell are not trespasses, but may give rise to nuisance. Plaintiff's real property includes surface, space, immediate airspace, and subterranean space to a reasonable distance. 2. Intent. Intent to enter the land will suffice even if by a reasonable mistake. Defendant does not need to know the land belongs to another. And the third element is causation. Note, an actual damage is not required. Trespass to chattel and conversion. Two separate but similar torts, the difference is in the level of interference with plaintiff's property and the damage plaintiff can recover. Elements. Defendant intentionally interferes with plaintiff's right of possession in tangible personal property or chattel. This interference usually occurs through dispossession, depriving plaintiff of his possessory rights in chattel, or damaging plaintiff's chattel. Trespass, minor interference or damage. And conversion is significant interference or damage that justifies defendant paying the chattel's full value. A longer and or more damaging use of plaintiff's chattel gives rise to conversion. The second element is intent. The third element is causation. And the fourth element is damages. Plaintiff must have some loss of use. Trespass, plaintiff can recover cost of repair or rental value of chattel, whereas conversion, plaintiff can recover full market value at the time of conversion or repossess the chattel